day 58 of quitting weed, and something I didn't really cover in any of my videos in the past 58 days is my background, how I grew up. And while it's not really a unique story by any means, I think it explains a lot of my mindset and kind of where I'm coming from with all of this. I grew up around drug and alcohol use. It was very available to me, not in the sense of consumption, but in exposure. And I think that's something that really kept me away from a lot of the harder drugs and a lot of the more addictive substances. And by that, I mean, I saw how it affected family, friends, and I didn't really want to be a victim to a lot of what I saw. I said in a few videos ago that I don't view drug addicts and alcoholics as somebody I should feel sorry for, and I don't view drug addiction and alcoholism as diseases, because I saw people every day of my life growing up making choices to either start something new or to continue doing something that was basically killing them. And I learned to become more apathetic to the whole situation, and I learned to utilize what I was witnessing and experiencing as the motivation to not become and or go through that myself in the first person. There's something to be said for somebody that can be exposed to something and not fall into it. It's kind of like the guy that always makes fun of others for using steroids and going to the gym too much and focusing primarily on their physique, ends up becoming the guy that uses steroids, goes to the gym too much, and focuses primarily on his physique. The person that complains about people being hypocrites usually is a pretty severe hypocrite. I saw what drugs and alcohol did to a lot of people that I cared about, and I didn't want people to feel about me the same way I felt about them. Where after a while, it wasn't even like, oh, I care about you. It was more like, I'm mad at you because you're constantly making these terrible decisions and you're seeing that it's ruining your life, just as I am, from a different perspective, albeit, but it's all up to you. It's in your hands. So growing up, I would, say stuff like, I'm never going to smoke weed. I'm never going to drink, because I would see friends and family members go through it. But then I found myself smoking weed and drinking. And I think I did it more so because that's just what everybody did. Not even the peer pressure aspect of it. It was the socialization aspect of it. I was in a band in high school and out of high school, and I traveled pretty vastly and played a lot of shows and met a lot of people from different walks of life. And something that a lot of people always had in common was, hey, let's go get a drink. Do you smoke weed? Let's smoke and have a conversation. Let's hang out. Let's chill. And it was a really great middle ground to kind of break the ice and bridge the gap between myself and other people, because I don't really like people. All in all, I don't like the general population of people. I don't like meeting new people. I don't like interacting with most people. Even people that I know and I have known for a long time, I don't really have an interest in what it is they have to say. I don't care about their life or how it's going. And it's hard for me to feign interest, right? When I'm trying to network with people, I'm trying to build relationships with people, whether it's music-based or business-based or personally based, I think my uninterested nature kind of comes through. I did sales for a long time. I'm pretty good at faking it, but I still think I could do better, because I feel like I'm showing my cards like, hey, dude, I really don't fucking care. And that's not really good when you're trying to build relationships, right? So I noticed that when I was really young, that I had a hard time being interested in what people were saying and other people's lives, because I had my own life. I had my own problems. And I'm in the mindset that if I can't take care of myself, I can't take care of those next to me. So I always put myself first, not in a selfish way, more so in I'm a very generous and I do care about those that I love way, but I'm not interested in hearing about what they're doing. I'm interested more in what I'm doing that can help me, that can help them. Smoking weed and drinking, specifically drinking, was really heavy on the side of, I just need something that I can connect with somebody with. So let's go do shots, let's have a couple beers, let's hang out and party, basically. And it definitely helped. I have noticed that since I've cut back on drinking, because I very rarely drink, for the past few years I haven't really drank at all. And since I have quit smoking in entirety 58 days ago, I have many fewer connections than I've ever had. I don't get as many calls or text messages as I used to or normally get. People aren't reaching out to me to find out if I want to come hang out or go to a party or whatever. I don't think it's the fact that they know that I'm not smoking and I'm not drinking and they think that's going to be, something that's going to tempt me, because if they know me at all, they know that I'm very strong-minded, and if I say I'm going to do something or I'm not going to do something or I'm not interested in something, there's nothing you can do to change my mind. You can't influence me, basically. So I don't think it's that, because it wouldn't make sense. That would basically mean that they really don't know me, which most of the people that I know on a personal basis, I would say, know me pretty well, because I'm very open, I'm very verbal about what I think and how I feel, and I don't really care how people think or feel about how I think or what I feel. So I don't think it's that. I think it's more so that people just don't have that connection with me, and maybe my disinterest shines through. So it's a little introspective thinking, and it's a little self-analyzing, but I'm just being honest here. I am taking the steps that I'm taking for the past 58 days to better myself. And I think part of all of this is smoking, but even more so, or not smoking rather, even more so beyond that, what's even bigger is me building my new circle of influential people that are going to make me who I am tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. And it's never a bad thing to kind of change up what you're doing and the expectations people have of you, because that's called growth. So I'm not just on a path of quitting weed. I'm not just on a path of not drinking. I'm not just on a path of growth. I'm on a path of life and getting to where I need to be, as opposed to where I was or where I'm, destined or bound to be based off of my past and my history. So I don't know. Didn't really think about much more to talk about, other than kind of giving you guys an insight into, how I grew up and kind of why I think the way I do, because I think it's important for you to know the why behind what I'm doing, not just the how. People ask all the time, how am I quitting? How do you find the motivation? How do you have the discipline? Looking more for advice, whereas it's less about me giving you advice and more about you understanding what it is that's happened to you or is happening to you, or what it is that's ingrained in you that could give you all of the motivation and determination and discipline that you need, just based off of your wants to either be or not be what's reflected upon you in your life by those around you. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you tonight, but I appreciate all the support. I've got 2 more days to reach one of the toughest goals that I've ever had to reach, aside from, physical goals. Mentally, this has definitely been a struggle. It's not nearly as hard right now as it has been over the past 58 days, or even within the first week, realistically, but it's not easy either. And anybody that tells you that what you're trying to do is easy and you should be able to do it, they just don't understand. Because there's things that they can't do, but they just won't even admit it. So, let's go.